Hey, my name is Sam Kinsella, and over the next few minutes I'm going to tell you a story about how I stumbled upon a job at a care home which led to one of the most life-changing experiences for myself and one of the elderly residents. One afternoon I was walking past a building when I heard someone shouting for help from one of the upper floors. I went to the entrance and notified one of the staff members that I could hear someone shouting for help. The lady I spoke to told me not to worry. She said it was just one of their residents who has a condition called dementia, which is a disease that affects someone's thinking, memory and reasoning. A few weeks later I started playing music to the residents at the home and then became an activities coordinator. My job was to take the elderly residents out for walks, play music and make sure that they had something stimulating them in their day-to-day lives. As I was getting to know the residents within the home, I went from room to room with a Bluetooth speaker to see if any of the residents connected with music. I walked into one of the rooms where I met a gentleman named Edward. He was the one who I had heard shouting. I played Georgia on My Mind by Ray Charles on the speaker, which is when he started telling me that his name was Sam and that he used to play the piano. I had told him that my name was Sam, so I thought that he was just confused when he kept saying, "My name is Sam Hardy." I then realised that he wasn't confused when he said, "No, my stage name was Sam Hardy and I played the piano with a band called the Sam Hardy Band." After he told me this, I asked his nephew if he could bring his old electric piano to the home, so he did. Once we set it up, Edward got up and started playing the piano. He played countless jazz hits from the 40s to the 60s off the top of his head without any sheet music. His wife was left in tears as the memories came flooding back as he played Misty by Ella Fitzgerald. This was the song that they had their first dance to at their wedding. That night I felt so inspired by what had happened that day, I decided to put an advert up on a website called Gumtree. The advert read, "I'm looking for people to come and play music in the care home with a 93-year-old who used to play in a jazz band." The advert went crazy. I had nearly 100 responses with people from all over the UK wanting to come and play with Ed. For the next week, musicians of all ages would come and play with Ed. It brought immense joy to him. The story picked up national news coverage and was featured on primetime TV one night. The next day, I received a phone call from one of his old band members. He told me that they had no idea that Ed was still alive after seeing him on the news, and they wanted to know if they could come and visit him. The following day, the band were reunited, including the wives who used to come along to the gigs. Even though Edward couldn't remember my name, he remembered every band member's name and was overjoyed to see them again. We then went on to put a reunion show at the home. It was the band's first show together in nearly 35 years. They played as if they hadn't spent a day apart, and it left the whole home overfilled with joy and inspiration. Edward's story transcended across every corner of the world, and I continued to receive thousands of messages. People were telling me that it had given them new hope with their elderly relatives and reminded them not to give up on them. Older people have so much to teach us, and Edward's story shows that even at the tender age of 93, there are still magical moments to be lived. Sometimes all it takes is one simple act of kindness to change someone's life, so remember that and be the voice.